Welcome to CCP's 11th CEO Investor Forum and our second day this year as we hear from leading CEOs from some of the world's greatest companies talking about how they are driving sustainable business success through a positive impact on the planet and people. We're also have heard from experts both yesterday and we'll hear from them today. We're really talking about the critical issues around ESG and sustainable business. I'm Daryl Brewster, and I'm the CEO of Chief Executives for Corporate Purpose, an organization of more than 200 of the world's leading companies, where we really look to empower companies on their purpose journeys, to empower them to drive sustainable business success through a positive impact on people and the planet. CCP companies represent more than $8 trillion in annual revenue, north of $13 trillion in market cap. Some have said it's the third largest economic unit in the world, the United States and China. Now, we have Coke and Pepsi, so the companies don't always get along, but the US states are having some difficulties days as well. But we're really delighted to have everybody with us today to talk, hear from CEOs, hear from experts on advancing business as a positive force in the world. You know, at CCP, as I mentioned, our purpose is to help companies on their purpose journeys. And purpose, and it helps right now with all the lingo and language to kind of have a perspective of where purpose and ESG and sustainability all fit in. For us, we really look at purposes at the top of the pyramid. Why a company exists, why an organization exists, its reason for being. Second is who it serves, its stakeholders, its customers, its employees, its consumers, its regulators, its investors, who are there and engaged and involved within the business. And of course, the needs of stakeholders are asymmetric. Some want this, others want that. The role of the company is to bring this all together. We believe you can do that with your strategy and your sustainable value creation plan. That's the integrated long-term plan the companies will be presenting. That's sort of the what of the organization. That's what they're doing to really kind of create value, live up to their purpose, meet the needs and exceed the needs of their stakeholders. Underpinning that, of course, is authentic action. The words are nice, lip service is a start, but then what do you do? Where do you put your investments? Where are your incentives laid out? Where do you really focus your efforts? The how of the enterprise and organization. And it's where a lot of the hard stuff really comes to place. And it is authentically acting, doing what you say you're going to do over and over that builds trust. And it's one of the reasons that business has emerged as the most trusted of the institutions. Sometimes the competition with media and government isn't that high, but really business has stepped up because it has done what it says it's going to do. But there's still tremendous room to go further on that. And then at the bottom of the pyramid, it's kind of the bottom line. But what does it mean? What are the metrics that show whether you're making progress? And what are you going to do for the future? Financial metrics, balance sheet, income statement, environmental, social, governance metrics as we move through with ISSB and other metrics, trust measures, reputation, KPIs of the company. Those are all really key pieces, but they're metrics. They are the output of what happens with good purpose, focused on your stakeholders, a plan, and great action. And CCP helps companies across all of those dimensions on kind of the rolling wheels of society today. Diversity, employee engagement, how communities are evolving. How do you talk and communicate today's 24/7 crazy news cycle, but around this notion of sustainable business, sustainable value creation. We thank our exclusive sponsor, S&P Global, for making this event possible. We appreciate that. It was great to have their technology shown yesterday with the 100 or so people who attended our investor conference yesterday in person. Today we're virtual, but we really do appreciate the work that S&P Global is doing, as well as our media partners, Responsible Investor and IR Magazine. We're really right in the core of what's happening in this important space. Now, as those who follow this world know, it can be an alphabet soup of acronyms and words and letters coming together all around this theme of how business can really make a positive impact in the world. Important metrics. They're kind of all over the place, and they have made progress. But they've also created some confusion, as you can imagine with that. And to us, in many ways, you can bring this all together on the tools that can help really drive sustainable value creation, both for issuers, companies, as well as for investors and for broader society. How do we bring this all together to really pull that on? And that's why we created CCP's Sustainable Value Creation Platform, co-chaired by Bill McNabb of Vanguard and chair and CEO, which owns a piece of every publicly listed company, as well as Alex Gorski, at the time the chair and CEO, now former chair and CEO of J&J. We had a world-class advisory board to help us get up and operating, to really help companies and issuers and investors have that discussion around how you can communicate and talk. The whole saying was, businesses are from Mars, investors are from Venus, and the CEO Investor Forum is designed to get people on that same page here as we move forward. We've been delighted that we've had $4 trillion of market cap companies representing that share their sustainable plans. That number will go up today and yesterday and today to asset owners representing trillions of dollars of assets under management. Thousands of people who watched online and been able to read our FD compliant and very open platform for all the information that we're sharing. List of companies, dozens of companies that have shared their plans, and have also been able to really gain some real executive-ready research, real research that companies can deploy and utilize as they go forward on this. 95% of the value of the average company in the S&P 500 is from its discounted, risk-adjusted future cash flows. The future, that's what we're investing in. That's what the market really works at. It performs this year, that gives you credibility, it provides a base, but it's really where you're headed is where you're making those investment decisions and where companies are focusing as well. And yet when we talk to CEOs, they spend only 10, at the most 20% of their time talking with investors about the long term. It's usually about the short term. How did this quarter go? What's next quarter? What's happening there? Yet value we've seen, and we heard yesterday from Nilly Gilbert, that a patience premium, those who invest in companies, do the research up front for the long haul, way outperform those who are trading in and out. And that's really what we're looking to create here, is a better balance. Not either or, it's a both and. Short term matters, how companies deliver against their milestones, important to lay those out, but all within the context of their longer term purpose and business strategies. And so we can therefore share with companies why you should have an integrated plan, what it includes, how you develop it, and the value of doing so. And for those who want more information, feel free to go to cecp.co, no M, co as in collaboration, for more information on that. Delighted to help you, your companies, investors on their journeys. Yesterday, we had a great discussion. We had the CEOs of Siemens, NRG, and PMI share their integrated sustainable plans. Those are companies representing close to $500 billion of market cap. Siemens, we heard about their innovative efforts, 8% of net revenue spent on R&D, 46,900 R&D professionals. NRG, Mauricio Gutierrez, their CEO, has an activist in his stock. He's trying to redirect his business to move from just being a supply-oriented business to one that focused on demand, how consumers and customers can manage their energy inputs. And we heard from Jacek Olsak from PMI, who really is transforming another business from smoked cigarettes to a smokeless world. It's not perfect, but far less concern in terms of from a health concern. And they have made real progress with the vast majority of their capital investment, their marketing investment, their R&D talent focused on the future of smokeless, a smoke-free world from PMI. And in their lead market, Japan, 60% of their business is now smokeless. And for those who've been in Tokyo, that is a breath of fresh air. Other sessions we heard from Nilly Gilbert. We also had a great panel with Leo Strine, former Chief Justice at the Delaware Supreme Court, Yusuf George, who was part of the efforts at CCW. He was Engine One at Exxon, and Stephen Brown, who leads the KPMG Board Leadership Center, as well as a number of conversations yesterday afternoon that really went through the specifics around how companies can deal with the challenges of sustainability and the changing disclosure requirements that are out there. Today, we've got also a powerful day lined up. We'll hear from CEOs like Mark Schneider and Nestle, BD, Exelon, Calvin Butler, Mitsubishi, and Montrose, kind of a smaller company who's focused in on the environmental area as well. Different industries, what you wanted, cross-sector, all sharing their sustainable business integrated plans. So we also had a great conversation already today with Bob Eccles and Dan Crowley, kind of a debate, a left-to-right debate on ESG and sustainability, but an awful lot of agreement. And once we kind of get the crazies out of the way, we can really get to some things about how businesses and investors can build a better world. We'll hear from Andrew Bahar at As You Sow, who's done a lot of work with companies and research, and who's willing to bring shareholder proposals when companies aren't kind of listening to the power of what they talk about. We also had a great panel we'll have coming up, headed by Neil Stewart and Kristen Sullivan at Deloitte, GRI with Stephen Wade leading the way. And then I think you'll be delighted to wrap up our session hearing from Jenna Moore from CCP on really the power of integrated long-term plans and using that framework to help drive your company and also think about companies you're investing in. With that, we'll turn it over to our first talk at Mark Schneider from Nestle.